How to start your writing assignment by breaking apart the assignment title. Hi, I'm Dr. Harry Witchell, and I am the author of Writing for Biomedical Sciences Students. And this video is called Getting Started with Your Assignment to put together your excellent writing. And that's what we're going to do, get you off to a first-class start with any writing assignment. Whether you have just been given an essay assignment and you don't know where to start, or you are an excellent student but want to make your writing process more efficient, following the instructions in this video will give you what you need to get started. Remember, if you don't start well, it will take you much longer to stumble your way to an excellent final product to hand in. About this video. Let's start by talking about what this video will cover. Writing assignments obviously include essays, but also these techniques work for PowerPoint slideshows or even a scientific poster. It's all the same process. In this video, I will show you how to understand what your instructors want by breaking apart the assignment title. We will analyze the title of your assignment into key topic phrases, focus phrases, and process words. The assignments that we are going to be talking about are based on biomedical sciences or the life sciences, and the level will be university or pre-university studies, but also for any professional situation. At the university level or above, writing is meant to be authoritative, based on evidence and library research. The main benefit of following this advice is that you should get a high mark on your assignment. That's because you are more likely to include what is expected in your writing and therefore achieve your instructor's marking criteria. Also, you are more likely to leave out information that is irrelevant or too elementary. Leaving out irrelevant information is important because instructors can get impatient if you write too many words before getting to the actual point. The end point or outcome of this guidance is that you should end up with a short list of ideas so you can begin your library research. I personally prefer to end up with a table with two columns. In one column, you'll have the content or material, and in the other column, you'll have the structure, style, and planned extras, such as figures, citations, and formatting. So let's set some ground rules here. In this video, when I talk about what your instructor tells you, that will appear in a formal font like this. By contrast, when I give you advice or suggest what you can do, that will be in an informal font like this. And finally, all of this advice is meant to be very flexible guidance. It is not a set of rigid rules that you have to follow to the letter. Assignment title. Now let's get to the meat of the problem by looking at what is in an assignment title for an essay and how you can use the assignment your instructor gives you to get a good mark. An assignment title is a statement or a question provided by your instructor that is meant as a springboard for the rest of your writing. Sometimes an assignment is referred to as an essay title, while other instructors call it an assignment prompt. Some examples of assignment titles are: Explain how pregnancy alters iron metabolism in the healthy body, or Describe the nervous system's development and relate it to common congenital defects of the spinal cord, or the classic, Reducing obesity has become a public health priority. Discuss. Each of these should lead to questions that you need to ask yourself. The most important question for your essay is, what information should you put in, and what information can stay out? In particular, there are 4 questions that you need to ask yourself. You need to find out what information to search for, including the best search terms, how to recognize the best material arising from your research, how much information on each topic to include, and what information you should take for granted that your reader already knows. By the end of this video, you will have an understanding of how to answer those 4 questions. Key topic phrases. Let's switch gears and talk about the first thing you will look for in your instructor's assignment title: key topic phrases. Key topic phrases are concepts, objects, including living things, and activities. The way to recognize key topic phrases is that they appear as a series of words, usually ending with a noun. Key topic phrases tell you what to search for and how to recognize your best material. In our first example, reducing obesity has become a public health priority. Discuss. Our 2 key topic phrases are reducing obesity and public health priority. Reducing obesity is an activity, and a public health priority is a concept. In the next example, explain how pregnancy alters iron metabolism in the healthy body. Our two key topic phrases are pregnancy and iron metabolism. The third example is describe the nervous system's development and relate it to common congenital defects of the spinal cord. Here, our topic phrases are the nervous system's development and common congenital defects of the spinal cord. Focus phrases. Let's move on to focus phrases. You may have noticed that within key topic phrases, they have smaller focus phrases. These help you to focus on a specific location or context. Such phrases might include recent, a specific location, such as a part of the body or a place, a specific time in history, or a specific context, such as adolescence. Focus phrases typically begin with preposition words, like in, during, of, or a possessive to show ownership, like Kathy's. In our examples here, the nervous systems is a possessive, and of the spinal cord is also one of these focus phrases. Focus phrases are incredibly useful because they tell you what is the most central aspect of the topic, and therefore what is your best material. And they also tell you what are the background facts that you should not include in your essay, because your assignment title tells you to take those for granted. The phrase common congenital defects of the spinal cord is made up of the general idea common congenital defects plus the focus phrase of the spinal cord. The presence of the focus phrase means that you probably do not want to include more than one sentence talking in general about common congenital defects. The focus phrase of the spinal cord tells you that your instructor is only interested in those defects relating directly to the spinal cord. In the phrase, the nervous system's development, we're not just looking separately at the nervous system and then at development. So you're not going to spend much of that essay introducing the whole concept of developmental biology. You'll take most of that for granted. Likewise, you'll only briefly introduce the nervous system and what it does. Instead, you'll spend a lot of your essay talking about development only considered inside the nervous system. It sounds obvious, but many students get confused during their introduction about defining terms, and they can spend far too much of their essay introducing general topics that are not relevant to the assignment. If there is a focus phrase in your assignment prompt, you want to stick closely to that focus phrase. That's a key issue. Process words. Now let's consider process words. Process words are usually verbs or commands that tell you the process that you have to go through in the course of your assignment. So, for example, reducing obesity has become a public health priority. Discuss. Discuss is a process word. It is a command word that tells you what to do. Other examples of process words are evaluate, analyze, summarize, describe, and explain. Other process words are question words, such as how, why, and what. Each of these process words tells you a little bit about how you have to look at your topic. More importantly, process words tell you how much of each topic to include and the depth with which you have to consider them. There are more examples of other process words in my book. In writing assignments, the verb discuss has a very particular meaning, in which you are expected to consider the topic from multiple perspectives and different sides of an argument. In an essay based on discussion, your goal should be to reach a balanced understanding of the topic and to critically consider the issues. It is less important whether or not you reach a definitive conclusion. Two-part assignments and the word and. Finally, let's talk about two-part assignments connected by the word and. These are titles that have two different ideas or questions linked together by a conjunction, such as the word and. In these essay prompts, you need to split the title into two different pieces and analyze each separately. Our example from before was describe the nervous system's development and relate it to common congenital defects of the spinal cord. The fact that there are two different parts of the title means that your essay needs to address three separate things. Part 1, the nervous system's development. Part 2, common congenital defects of the spinal cord. And finally, Part 3, the two parts together. how those two are related to each other as the third part. This third part, which integrates the two halves of the title, is the part that is most important, and it should be the centerpiece of your essay. In summary, when you analyze your assignment title, you will identify key topic phrases, focus phrases, as well as process words. For example, in the essay assignment, describe the nervous system's development and relate it to common congenital defects of the spinal cord. The two key topics are first, the nervous system's development, which includes the focus phrase, the nervous systems, and congenital defects of the spinal cord, which includes the focus phrase, of the spinal cord. The process words for that title are describe and relate it. In this video, you have learned how to analyze your assignment title before you start your research so that you know the key topics, process words, and focus phrases. By doing this early, it will help you to know what to look for, how to recognize your best material, how much of each topic to include, and what information you can take for granted. If you want more information on this topic, you can watch my other videos on this series. And for detailed information on how to write with authority and evidence, you can buy my book. Thanks for listening.